audible to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's
Yes,
due
sir.
to
It's
network
audible.
poor network connectivity. That's why each and every time I told or I'm going to tell you that during this particular online session, try to mute your microphone. Even if in case of your camera, you just directly switch off your camera for better connectivities in case of sound, in case of video, whatever we present from our side, that would be visible properly. The next part is that if you go to the basic objective of statistics, as I told that it will help to calculate the different aspect of business as well as your industries, starting from the calculating average, mean, mode, median, and it also helps list of numbers in case of business and in case of your industry point of view. The next part is that, as I told in the previous class, the statistics will collect the various form of data, starting from the primary source, starting from the secondary source. Then data should be directly, you consider it that should be organized in a proper manner, or you consider it in the tabular form by using any kind of presentation in the form of different charts, and that should be analyzed, and finally that should be interpreted in front of the top management. The next part is that it helps to increase the performance management in business as well as in case of industry also. How it will be increase the performance, for example, in case of manufacturing organizations, it will directly enhance the employee productivity. Those who are the employee who are directly or indirectly involved in case of number of workstations. The next part is that it also help in case of number of tasks assigned to different people in different areas. Similarly, it also control the unit production in case of manufacturing or production activities. The next part is that if you go to the statistical point of view, in case especially reference to the those who are the statistical manager or analysis, they directly compare by the help of statistics. They directly compare and they provide the best option to the management, and that management will choose the best option for their business and as well as for their organization. The next part is last part, the most important part. The statistics basically uses in case of research and development. In the last class, I have already told about some multinational company, starting from your Tata Group, starting from your, you can say in case of Hero MotoCorp, or sorry, in case of your Bajaj or two-wheeler segment. If you take the small case study in case of Tata Group, Tata has assigned or so many multinational companies, especially in the segment of earth moving, especially in the segment of engine development. Similarly, in case of two-wheeler segment, Bajaj has tie up with KTM. That why, you have seen so many variant, special reference to the Pulsar model in the segment of two-wheelers. So due to that research and development, whenever you implement or tie up with another companies, you directly go for different kind of aspect. First one is your market search, the second one is market survey, and the next part is that your product development. So all the things starting from different aspects, starting from average, calculating mean, mode, median, and list of number for the business. The next is summarize all form of data to the management, and it provide all type of comparisons, whether it should be pricing, whether it should be product specification, whether should be the dimension of product, whether it should be the, you can say that is the quality of that particular product. That should be easily compared, and that provide best option to choose by the management and implement the most important decision regarding their product and services. That's why the statistics is very much essential in our day-to-day life. But the thing is that whenever you collect the different aspect of data, whether it should be primary source of data, we have a common concept in our mind that whether data should be belong to primary source or the data should be secondary source. In the next slide, we will discuss that particular point. Moving to the next slide, if you see the common things which is basically used in case of statistical analysis, that is data. We have to collect the data, organize the data, then analyze the data, then interpret the data. Finally, the result will be presented in front of your top management. So before starting that particular subject, we directly focus on data. The simple definition of data is that data means a piece of information, whether it should be a number or whether it should be a digit. The next point is that data is a set of values. What kind of value? Suppose you visited a market where you buy a quantity of materials. In that case, either the 1 kilo, that kilo is that provide a particular value. 1 kilo, 1 liters. These are the value of that particular data. The next part is that data is limitless and present everywhere in the universe. Data is a universal term which is used in the form of number and digit. So moving to the next part, data are generally classified or categorized in two types. The
So,
first, yes, yes.
so can you explain again the data is a set of value?
Data is a set of values. Suppose you go to a particular location to collect various type of data. Suppose I assign you to collect the various type of data, for example, for a population study. I got my point. In case of population study, there are different set of data are available. Data are available, and that value should be grouped or organized in a particular form. For example, in the case of male-female ratio, for example, age group ratio, for example, employability ratios, these are the different set of values which should be represented in the form of data or in the form of number and digit. I think you got your answer.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine, fine. The next part is that, as I told, the data are divided into two types, that is quantitative data and qualitative data. We'll discuss one by one. In case of your quantitative data, these data are made with instruments such as rulers. Basically, the steel rules are used for measuring the length, width of different dimensions, different objects. Then next part is your balances, then graduated cylinders, beakers, and thermometers. So these are result. These results are measurable in your intermediate classes or in your graduation classes. Those who are belong to BSc, those who are belong to science background. In that case, they perform so many type of experiment, starting from the ruler in case of physics for balance, in case of physics, in case of graduated cylinder and beakers in case of chemistry, thermometer in case of chemistry. So these they whenever you use this particular instrument to measure a particular number in the form of quantitative data, that data should be easily measurable, or you can say those data are easily measured, they are known as quantitative data. The next part is that qualitative data. So in case of qualitative data, use your sense to observe the result. For example, you can test the particular object or particular disease. You see, or you can feel, or you can smell this thing. So these data are under qualitative data. These are basically drawn in the form of survey, in the form of taste, in the form of sense, in the form of flavors. These are under qualitative data. So moving to the next one. So here the typical example of your data in the form of qualitative as well as quantitative. So if you go to the qualitative point of view, in the form of descriptive information, suppose I drink coffee every day. So that is qualitative. But in case of quantitative, these are divided into two types, that is descriptive or counted. That means in that particular figure, the four number of coffee cup are there. That means I drink 4 coffee every day. Similarly, in case of continuous measured, special reference to your quantitative data, that I drink 80 grams of coffee every day. So that means in case of quantitative, you just measure the particular object or particular the exact contents of that particular cup in such way that you can easily measure that data in the form of number and digit. Similarly, in case of descriptive, you describe the display after that means I consume 4 cups of coffee every day. That 4 belongs to quantitative data. Then move to the next part. In case of quantitative data, the quantitative data which definite unit of measurement, for example, weight, volume. The next is your time, the temperature, the humidity are under this particular quantitative data. The next part is that in case of quantitative data, basically the continuous data and discrete data included. In this part, if you go to the first point, in case of continuous data, that represent the numerical value of continuous variable. In the previous slide, you consume 4 cup of coffee in day. That means the continuous variable should be increase or decrease, but that represent a particular number or a particular value. Similarly, in case of discrete, suppose individually you calculate or separately calculate the data. The discrete data are value assumed by the discrete variables. Whether you consume 80 grams or whether you consume 100 ml of beverage, in that case, you can measure that particular data. And what are the variables that is able to change or adapt? So these are under starting from the continuous data or discrete data under quantitative data. Then moving to the next point or next, so that is your qualitative data. So in case of qualitative data that refer to qualitative characteristics of an object. Here the data are observed and noted in terms of numbers. Suppose someone is assigned to count number of students in the classroom. That means that person is observed and noted on a paper that around 60 or 65 students are present over there. The next part is basically the nominal data and the rank data are under qualitative data. That means in case of nominal data, data are outcomes of classification into 2 or more categories according to the characteristics. That means the classification of students, such as how many male students are there in a particular class and how many students are present in the particular class. There should be categorized 2 or more. The next part is that in case of rank data, the rank data are the result of assigning the rank to specific order or specify the order of integers. And it will start from 1, 2, 3, 4 up to your n number of data. For example, if your institute assign a particular person for calculating the different type of product available in case of Big Bazaar. So whenever the particular person is present inside the premise of Big Bazaar, initially he observes the garment store. Then after he observes the FMCG product, then grocery item, then toy sections, and finally he or she will reach to the cash telling machine. In this regard, for example, they will rank starting from the 1, he observed the number of cloth, rank number 2, he observed number of FMCG product, rank number 3, he observed the toy stores, rank number 4, he observed the grocery item. In this regard, you can assign the different rank to specify the order of integer to present the particular data in the qualitative manner.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, nominal data, it is written if we classify the student as male and female, that we can count the number of males and females. So it is a qualitative data, not a quantitative data types, no?
It is not quantitative, it is qualitative. You observe. It is initially written in case of qualitative data that directly refer to qualitative characteristic of object. Suppose I assign you to count number of you can say that is a bench or chair in the particular classroom. That means you have to observe.
Okay.
Yes or no? Okay. In this regard, you can categorize how many tables are there, how many chairs are there.
So,
Yes.
What is the difference in nominal data and the quantitative data?
In case of, as I told, in case of your nominal data, it is under qualitative data. So in case of qualitative data, you just observe through your eye, through your sense, through your, or you can say that is, you can, in some cases, you can taste those particular things. And these data are directly by the hand, you can note down this particular data in the form of number or digit. I think you got my answer, got your answer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Then moving to the next one. So if you go to the next part, that is the basic difference between qualitative data and quantitative. Here you can find your answer. In case of qualitative data, deals with descriptions, but in case of quantitative data, deals with numbers. The next part is in case of qualitative data, the data can be observed but not measured. But in case of quantitative data, which can be measured. So here the basic observation as far as concerned with qualitative data. First one is color, texture, smell, taste, appearance, beauty, etc. But in case of quantitative data, you can directly measure the length, the height, the area, the volume, the weight, the speed, the time, the temperature, the humidity, the sound levels, the cost, members, age, etc. The next part is that the last most important part, In case of qualitative data, that directly refer to qualities. So what do you mean by quality? The quality is a bunch of satisfaction which is directly offered from manufacturer to customer. The next part there, in case of quantitative data, the quantity directly refer to quantities in the form of number or digit. These are the basic difference between your qualitative as well as quantitative data. The next most important parameter of your statistics.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, suppose an employee ID is numbers. Employee ID is being represented in numerical form, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like
Yes.
this. It will be a qualitative data or a quantitative data.
It's a qualitative data. You observe that particular.
Sir, why? Sir, because it is represented in numbers.
Okay, the same thing, both in case of qualitative or in case of quantitative, all are present in the form of numbers. But the thing is that in case of quantitative data, you directly measure those things. But in case of that number, it cannot be measured that particular number.
Okay.
The employee ID cannot be measured. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine. So is the PPT is visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes,
The
sir.
next part is that the collection of data, that is the most preliminary stage of your statistics. The collection of data depends upon data sources. So there are two number of sources. One is primary data and secondary data. In case of primary data, these are the data which are collected for the first time from the primary source or by investigator or taking any kind of investigations. For example, in case of population and sample draw from it, basically the population study, special reference to your election commission doing this type of data from the primary sources. The next part is that in case of secondary data, these data are which are collected from some secondary sources. For example, in case of internet sources are there, social media sources are there, print media sources are there, government agency are there. Then you can say that is your some print media as well as your online medias are there. You can collect various form of secondary sources. These data are known as secondary source of data. So basically, in case of your, if you take the first time from a primary source that is known as primary data, and you have collect the through different sources that is known as secondary source of data. Also, the basic difference between primary sources and secondary sources. For example, in case of primary sources, if you go for first time, in case of survey, basically person-to-person interaction for collection of data, then you must use the telephonic interaction, which you can say two or more number of people or maybe infinitive number of people for collection different type of data. And lastly, you can communicate with other people by the help of mail. So these data are initially done through the survey, and these are the different methods for personal interaction, telephonic interaction, through internet or through mail interaction. You can survey for collecting different primary data for your survey. The next is observations. In case of observation, that is personal observation. As I told that if I assign to count number of chairs and number of table inside a particular class, a person directly stand inside a particular room and calculate how many number of benches, how number of chairs are there. Easily they should be observed and noted in the form of number or digit. The next and most important thing is mechanical observation. Why mechanical? This particular mechanical observation is directly dedicated to your industry or any kind of manufacturing unit. So in case of industry or manufacturing unit, if the operation manager or your operation supervisor, he is responsible for taking number of observations. So basically, for making or to enhance the different level of productions, the operation supervisor is very much responsible, or you can say that is the operation manager is very much responsible for assigning different people to different number of workstations. So in this regard, as you know, nowadays more integrated or more complex machines are used for manufacturing industries to develop various type of complex object. Special reference to your automotive industries. So that is why the mechanical in that particular mechanical observations, a particular person is assigned to observe the different activities or tasks allocate to the different people to in a particular shop floor. where how they perform, how they handle, how they operate the machine. In this regard, they can directly note the exact cycle time of machine, exact processing time of machine. It is very much crucial for manufacturing activities. They directly compress the different cycle time from their production activities, or you can directly tell that they can optimize the different cycle time to increase the productivity, to enhance the productivity, to perform the production activities in a systematic manner for a common objective of organizations. The next part is that in case of primary data sources, the next part is experimental. In case of experimental, you have already performed different kind of chemistry as well as physics experiment in your during your intermediate courses. In that case, whenever you perform the particular laboratory experiment, in that experiment, whatever the data is produced, that data belong to primary data. Similarly, in case of field experiment, suppose a company assign you being a executive, they assign you to allocate different resources or arrangement of different warehouse allocations or arrangement of different layout of organization. They directly go to that particular place for the first time, and initially they go for different kind of analysis. For example, the land analysis, the availability of different kind of utilities, starting from the electricity, the availability of water, sanitations, all the things should be observed, and that should be represented in the form of digit or number. That is known as field experiment, which is done for primary, which is done for collection of primary data. Moving to the next part, in case of source of secondary data, as I told, there are more number of libraries are present, starting from the school level, then intermediate level, in the graduation level, in the university levels. They provide numerous books, journals. Even if your some library they have maintained some kind of print media also available in the form of secondary source of data. The next part is that government agencies are there for the providing various type of secondary source of data in the form of rule, regulations, and then SOP, standard operating procedure, how to maintain, how to act as, how to implement the policy in different segment. That should be noted in the form of secondary data. Then the next part is that trade and professional and businessmen. In case of there are so many entrepreneur, so many companies, so many business, so many you can say that is organization. They provide a different secondary source of data. You can directly collect the data in the form of secondary data. The next is private business firm, then advertised media, or you can say it is the print media, or your online media is there, or channel media is there. Then next part is university research organization. So in case of university research organization, as you know, most of the technical university has performed various type of experiment in the form of primary data, and that are directly noted or documented in the form of secondary source. You can directly collect various aspects from starting from year wise of different field, starting from the chemical sector, whether should be financial sector, whether should be manufacturing sector. That data should be provided by that particular university. In case of journals, in case of research articles, they will provide in the form of secondary source of data. Then moving to the next one. So next method is, you can say that is the method of primary data collections. As I told, the primary data are observing, or there is maybe some questions are there. But the thing is that, sorry. In case of observations, you can assign human, even if you can assign machines also for observation. Basically nowadays, most of the observations are done through the CCTV surveillance. But in case of questionnaire, you directly communicate with mail or through internet, through telephonic call, through personal interaction. You can directly access a set of questions for collection of different data from different company, whether it should be companies, whether it should be organization, whether it should be a person also. The next part is that next one is method of secondary data collections. In case of secondary data collection, these are two types, that is internal sources are there, external sources are there. In case of internal sources, accounts and sales sources are there. Most of the sources are provided by entrepreneur, business house, corporate world. They will provide the different account or financial related or sales related analysis in the form of you can say directly go to the print media site, or you can say you can directly their website and collect the various aspect of your financial analysis as well as sales analysis. The next part is external sources. Periodically, if you go to we have nowadays vastly most of the people are focusing on social media. There may be yes, yes. Hello, hello. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What happened? Video is sorry. The PPT is not visible. Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Visible.
sir,
Please continue.
visible.
Continue, sir.
Okay, just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. In case of, as I told, in case of social media, there are different platforms starting from Facebook, starting from Insta. Nowadays, most of the social media site are also providing different type of data. If you access those things, as you know, in the day one session, Professor Varun sir has told you to download the Insert app in case of updating your knowledge skill in different areas. Similarly, in case of Insta, you can directly log in Brute India. In that particular Brute India, you can say that particular site is provided a 2-minute video related to person, related to corporate world, related to for you can say it's political news. Also, they also providing some technological news, a different you can say it is upgraded version of automotive sector. This news you can directly follow that particular page or that particular group. You can they will provide various type of data in the form of videos. The next part is that in case of government, government has provided, these are tie up with the Indian Statistical Institute, and they will provide different rule regulations and different manuals. According to that manuals, you can directly access or directly collect this secondary source of data. The next part is internet and other sources. These are the other sources means you can directly go for off print media, even if some magazines, business magazines are there. In case of your folk magazines are there, you can directly access related to industry as well as your business. Then moving to the next part, the most important topic. Yesterday class we have discussed about statistics as well as the real-time application of statistics. But today class we are discussing quantitative techniques. So how quantitative techniques will help or fix the problem in case of decision making, special reference to decision science, how the business world as well as the industries will help to increase or to making more profit by using some quantitative techniques, whether it should be financial sector, whether it should be manufacturing sector, whether it should be your accountability, whether it should be marketing, whether it should be your supply chain management or logistic activities. So these are very much crucial or very much you can say it is the most important tool basically used in case of your business as well as industry also. And if you go to the definition wise, the quantitative techniques are those statistical and programming techniques which help decision makers solve many problems, especially those concern business and industries. In this regard, I will show a small case study when Tata Nano was under construction project. Due to political issues by West Bengal government, the Tata Group decided they should shift whole plant from Tata Singur to Gujarat Sanand area. So just imagine, it is the largest evacuation in case of industries, and it is the longest distance of evacuation from one place to other place, starting from West Bengal Singur to Gujarat Sanand. In this regard, initially the company faced so many logistic problems. What kind of logistic problem? If they assign Indian Railway for transportation of whole plant, it will took around 6 months. But the fact is that you can say that is Ratan Tata has already announced the launching date of Tata Nano. So that's why they prefer roadways, and they assign a third-party logistic company for evacuation project. So just imagine starting from the root level, the whole plant should be evacuated and that should be shifted within a month, and the next month they will launch the Tata Nano, because the demand of Tata Nano in case of lower segment four-wheeler is very much higher side. People are already booked that particular four-wheeler. In this regard, they can perform various tasks to solve the logistic problem as well as solve the supply chain activities of that particular plant. Similarly, if you take the best example in case of your case study of your Odisha state, all of you know about Falcon Marine Group. They have already launched their retail outlet in the form of Chilika Fresh. Clear? So initially, the company is established only one processing center nearby your Manchester, Bhubaneswar area. So during transportation of livestock of seafood, so basically this Falcon Marine Export Limited, it's a company which deal with seafood. So this industries belong to seafood. So initially the company faces so many types of logistics problems. So initially they hire different type of transportation agency for transporting the livestock of seafood, uh, directly shifted from Chilika area to different processing center. And they face that the cost of transportation is very much higher side as compared to their productivity. And one day the company feel that if we assign the third party logistic companies, it automatically the profit will be automatically degraded. So due to that thing, company launch its own logistic. Initially, they assign 50 number of trucks, and these trucks are specially equipped with air condition to maintain the temperature inside the container. As you know, if you tear the package of that particular seafood product, it long for 6 hours, maximum 6 hours, and after 6 hours, it directly goes to the wastage part. That directly lead towards loss of money and in the form of loss of profit. So that's why company launches its own logistics, and company find that due to implementation of their own logistics, they directly ship to different processing center, because in case of seafood industries, special reference to the salty water seafood industries, the rapid rise in case of customer demand, even the companies assign for import and export of seafood to the different Asian countries. So due to that thing, the company will increase the number of trucks. And due to that factor, in the last year, the company has already invested 70 crore rupees in case of different processing center nearby your Baleswar as well as nearby Dhamra port area for export-import activities. So these are some real-time case studies where you can easily optimize the transportation cost and increase the profitability in case of business and as well as industry point of view. Then moving to the next part, the quantitative techniques are those techniques that provide decision makers with systematic and powerful means of analysis based on quantitative data. As I told, the quantitative data should be measurables, whether should be the speed of vehicle or the temperature of container, whether the humidity is, all the things should be considered which is under measurable condition and which should be sorry, should be represented in the form of digit and number. And this quantitative data for achieving predetermined goals of organization, that is making more profit. So moving to the next point, in case of quantitative techniques, this basically involves the use of numbers, symbols, mathematical expressions, and other element of quantities, and serve as a supplement to the judgment and institution of decision makers. So most of the cases, if you go to the quantitative point of view, they are basically use symbols, mathematical model, mathematical formula that easy to eliminate the quantities and serve as a supplement to judgment. Apart from judgment, you have to the management is choose the best one, and they provide the best decision regarding their product and services. The next part is that here the role of your quantitative techniques in business and industries. In case of quantitative techniques, it provides a tool for scientific analysis. The next part is it provides solution for various business problems. They enable proper deployment of resources, help in minimizing waiting and service cost. They enable management to decide when to buy and how much to buy. So that proper decision is provided by quantitative methods. The next is they render great help in case of optimum resource allocations. That means the optimum resource means you have to arrange the man, machine, material. These are the different resources to different departments. For example, in case of steel industries, for example, in case of metal industry, their crude material are basically used. But the thing is, if you not use or if you not allocate this raw material in a optimum way, that directly goes to the wastage part. The last part, they facilitate the process of decision making. So by the help of, I just repeat those points. In case of quantitative techniques, special reference to your business or industries, it's a particular tool for scientific analysis, provide solution for business problems, enable proper deployment of resources, minimize waiting time, reduce the cost. The next is enable management to decide the best option, how much to buy, what to buy. It also helps great optimum of your resource allocation, and it also provide the best decision making regarding your product and services. So before starting this particular quantitative techniques, I'll show a particular case studies. So all of you know this particular structure, man-made structure. This is the world's largest man-made structure.
Burj Khalifa?
Yes, it is Burj Khalifa. Okay. So how the Burj Khalifa has implemented the particular quantitative techniques for visitors. In the massive buildings was visited by a record number of visitors last year, that is 1.87 million. So suppose in case of 1.87 million people are visited the place like Twin City in every year. So there is a huge amount of traffic intensity will occur in case of roadways, in case of railways, in case of local transport. So just imagine how they manage that particular thing, and it is happened due to the waiting line theory under quantitative techniques. In that waiting line theory, they just calculate the traffic intensity. So basically, in case of waiting line theory, there is three concepts is there. The first concept, I will show that particular slide, then we'll move to the Burj Khalifa case studies. So if you go to the waiting line theory or queue system, the first and most important thing, it is customers. The next part is that your waiting line. And the third and most important part, that is service channel or service facilities. So here in the typical form of presentation of this graphical, you've seen there are 5 number of peoples are there, and 2 peoples are on waiting lines, 1 is in the service facilities, and 2 are already exist. So how they manage? By the help of the queue system. The basic queue system is facilitated, or they can arrange number of service facilities that whenever the people is arrive inside the system, they can easily avail the service, and after getting the service, he will depart. Similarly, this principle is also applied in case of banking sectors. So if you take the base case study of bank, special reference to HDFC, your Patia branch, if you visited this particular branch or you visited any kind of public owned branch, bank sector, special reference to SBI, then Punjab National Bank, you have observed so many number of cash tellering channels are there when you perform deposit and withdraw activities. But apart from those deposit of cash and withdraw of cash, there are other departments are correlated with that particular systems. There is a loan section is there, old age section is there, green channels are there. The next is the finance department is there, the accounts department is there. But how they manage? Because they initially go for your population study. After getting the population study, they have to arrange number of service facility in the form of number of service channels. In the form of service channels, they already know that this particular area contains the 1,000 number of customers. When in a particular day, around 500 number of customers will be arrive inside the bank. They can easily provide the service, and after getting the service, they will easily evacuate from our bank. And it is happened due to the queue system. So if you go to the particular definition of queue systems, if you go to the queue
Excuse
theories,
me, sir.
yes, yes.
Sir, in that slide where the presentation is shown of the queuing system, so there are few customers who are discouraged or dissatisfied. So, is there any option to make them to satisfy them in this system?
Okay, as far as concerned with this particular slide, you have already noted this discouraged customers. That means that if you are not, you don't have any kind of activities. For example, in case of cash deposit or some are not surfing inside the bank, na? That's why they are discouraged customers.
Okay.
They are considered to be discouraged. Clear? Suppose you are
Sir,
visited
but
mail. These people are not considered in the systems. As I told the customers, the waiting line and service channel, these three things are considered. Yes.
but if the waiting customers they get delayed service, then they can also become the discouraged customer
No,
due
no,
to such.
no, these are not discouraged. I will show that particular formula. These are not discouraged. These are on waiting lines.
Okay.
Okay. Suppose waiting line directly belong to fast service. Suppose you go for a deposit of cash in a particular bank. Whenever you reach nearby, that means those who are present, they provide the fast service. That is the concept of waiting line or queue system. Fine.
Yes, sir.
हेलो जो पहले
Yes,
आएगा उसको पहले सर्विस दिया जाएगा यही कंसेप्ट है क्यू लाइन की क्लियर
yes, sir. Okay.
but the thing is that we are moving to the definitions. The queue theory is the mathematical study of conjunction or delay of waiting lines. It's a branch of operation research. The queue theory can help the user make informed business decision on how to build efficient and cost-effective workflow system. So this queue system directly belong to the workflow of system. Whenever you reach on a fast come fast basis, the service is provided in that manner, fast come fast service. After that, after a fraction of second or fraction of minute, you just avail the facility and just depart from the system. That is the concept. So here, in case of Burj Khalifa, just imagine 1.87 million people are visited in a single year, and there are different resident blocks are there, different multi-star restaurant are there. So just imagine this much people are visited that particular man-made structure. They have arranged in a such a way that they just calculate the traffic intensity by using this particular formula, that is rho equals to lambda by mu. So in case of ratio, that is in traffic intensity ratio, lambda by mu, that is called as traffic intensity or the utilization factor. It determines the degree to which the capacity of service station is utilized. That means whenever the people arrive inside that particular kin, they will provide the rate of services. In that way, they can calculate the traffic intensity. How they calculate? I will show other formulas. So these are the other formulas starting from the probability of system is empty, that is 1 minus lambda by mu. Here lambda stands for arrival rate. In the bottom, we have already mentioned that lambda stands for arrival rate and the Q is the service rate. Similarly, in case of average number of Q, that is lambda square divided by, these are the formula basically used in case of providing the service rate in different fields, starting from the visiting place or tourist places. In case of toll plaza also, in case of banking sector, in case of shopping mall also, they have arranged on numerous facilities for reaching the customer inside the system, and they just avail the facility and just depart from the system. In that way, they can manage the waiting line or the congestion in between more number of traffic intensity. I'll show the next case studies. In case of India's costly road, which is directly referred to Yamuna Express, which connect the place like your Gurgaon to your that is Agra, and just imagine in that particular expressway and in a particular day, around 1 lakh vehicles should be passed. So just imagine how the toll plazas are operate and collect the fees or dues for those who are using this particular expressway. So if you go to that particular waiting line theory, they find that that is average waiting of 3 minutes or 3 minutes waiting time under the toll plaza routes at Yamuna Express. So this is the result. If you visited that particular road, whenever you visited a place like Agra by use of Yamuna Express, you have to wait for 3 minutes. That is the result through the result or conclusion drawn through the queue theory or waiting line theory. So in this regard, there is no 0% of traffic intensity in this particular road, as well as they can reduce the traffic intensity during travel from that place to Agra Village. So this is the typical case study as far as concerned with waiting line. Then moving to the next part. This is another method that is known as your simple moving average method. So these methods are basically used for forecasting various type of demand, whether should be marketing, whether should be belong to sales demand. If you go to the definition of simple moving average, it is a arithmetic moving average calculated by adding recent closing price, then divide by the number of time period in the calculation average. I repeat, this is the arithmetic moving average calculated by adding recent closing prices and then divide by the number of time period in the calculation average. In this method, the average of demand from several of the most recent period. In most of the cases, the past or recent period is taken for calculating the demand forecast for the next time period. I will show a small case studies. Suppose there is a XYZ refrigerator supplier is there, and they have explained the following demand for refrigeration during the past 5 months. And for the past 5 months, what are the demand? For the month of February, the demand is 20. For the month of March, the demand is 30. For the month of April, the demand is 40. For the month of May, the demand is 60. And for the month of June, the demand is 45. If I ask, by using 3-month moving average, calculate the demand for next month, that is demand forecast for next month in the form of June. In this regard, you directly apply the formula. This is the formula, that is moving average for next month, that is summation of demand divided by number of period. So in this case, just a minute, in this case, you have observed, suppose I ask, go for 5-period moving average, calculate the demand forecast for the month of July. In the previous month, we have, in case of March, that is demand is 20. I'll just go to the previous slide. In case of February, that is 20. In case of March, that is 30. In case of April, that is 40. In case of May, that is 60. In case of June, that is 45. So if I ask, go for 5-month moving average to calculate the demand forecast for the month of July. In that case, you just directly add 20 plus 30 plus 40 plus 60 plus 45 divided by 5. And you can got the demand forecast for the month of July is 29 unit. Similarly, if I ask the demand forecast for the month of July by using 3-month moving average, that means you directly go to the past 3 months, starting from April, May, June, or you can reversely go June, May, or April. So similarly, you can calculate by using this particular formula, that is n equals to your 3, because I have already told you can calculate the moving average for 3 month or 3-period average. Here n equals to 3, and the moving average for the next month, that is July, equals to 40 plus 60 plus 45 divided by 3, and you can get the answer, that is 49. I think all of you understand. Any doubt from your side?
So in this case, if both the averages are different, then sir, how will we forecast the demand? Because there's a huge
That depends
difference.
upon depends upon company policies. Suppose you have heard about Casipal umbrella.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so during rainy season, the demand is very much higher side.
Okay.
Clear? In that case, you directly predict the 3-month moving average. That means 3 महीने बाद बारिश तो बंद नहीं होगा ना, अभी मतलब चालू हुआ है. In the month of you can say that in the month at the end of May, initially the the sky is surrounded by a cloud, and it should be took around of the end of September. According to the company policy, you can implement a 3-month moving average, 4-month moving average, 5-month moving average. Similarly, if you take the best example in case of automotive industries, clear?
Yes.
Special segment like four-wheeler. Which company is very much famous for four-wheeler in India?
Maruti.
Maruti Suzuki.
Maruti, sir.
Maruti.
Maruti, sir.
Exactly. Maruti Suzuki is leading the market,
Yes, sir.
and second is your Tata, third one is Mahindra. In
Yes, sir.
that case, suppose previous 3 year or previous 3 month sales is break all the record. Clear? In that case, you
Yes.
directly use 2 month or even if you directly use 3 month moving average. So that
Okay.
depends upon the company to company and company policy. That
And
varies
sir,
from,
if
yes.
if the cases of FMCG products, like for example, if we see it for the rice or other products like that, like spices or something,
So
then
in that case, suppose you telling a right situational question. Okay. In that case, what will happen? Suppose you already know that farmer strike is directly already the government of India is directly
yes, sir,
consulting or
that
communicating
was
with
in
farmers.
news.
So due to that thing, more of the processing unit like Adani Foods, in case of Reliance Foods, in case of
Yes.
Nature, they are directly implementing 6-month moving average because they directly focus on COVID-19 situations. Clear?
Okay.
So in that
Okay.
case, they directly implement 6-month moving average, or they
Okay.
directly use, you consider it is 12-month moving average, because before 12 months there is no pandemic situation are there. But nowadays we
Okay.
have already faced the pandemic situation. Due to that thing, you can take the best example in case of onion also. Clear? So in
Yes,
the
sir. Right.
month of July, in the month of August, it just touched the price of 100 rupees. So how
Yes,
can
sir.
you judge the next demand will be surpass around 120 rupees? So just imagine we have the best places like Nasik, weather area is there. But if you compare the other country or other neighboring country like Nepal, Bhutan, or even if Pakistan, the prices rapidly rise day by day. They cannot be controlled the prices because there is unavailability of this natural or agri crop. Clear?
Sir,
So
but
moving
here the
on.
prices are normal right now.
Presently normalized, it is due to the optimization of your transportation cost. I also that particular case study, how the optimization of transportation cost should be done in case of pharma industry, in case of agri industries.
So,
How it
but
should be.
if you're taking the case of onion prices, then how do you like? How did they take the moving average to calculate the prediction?
Okay, in case of 6 months, there the price is normalized. But in case of just when you compare next 6 months, the prices fluctuate. In case of state like Odisha, we have already faced around 60 rupees, then 70 rupees. Then nowadays it is normalized. In that case, the most fluctuate period that should be considered the moving average. Clear?
Okay, sir.
So higher side and lower side. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. Then moving to the next one. The next one is game theory. So as far as concerned with this is another technique we basically use in the game of chess and war strategy used by defense. The next is poker card games, or even if your market share and stockholders. In case of game theory, in case of some part of game theory you have observed in case of Big Boss also in the last season. So these are the basic strategy, and the rule of game theory is one person win, one person lose. This is the common rule of game theory. And this game theory are also applicable to your any kind of game, whether one or more players are available. Similarly, if you go to the definition of game theory, the game theory is the process of modeling the strategy interaction between two or more players in a situation containing set of rules and outcome. So what are the outcome? One person win, another person lost. This is the outcome. So if you go to the game theory proper definition, in that case, this is the mathematical study of strategic decision making, and it is used to find optimal outcomes from a set of choices by analyzing the cost benefit to each independent party as they compete with each others. So according to the game theory, one always lose and another player always win. So suppose if you compare Jio versus Airtel by using game theory, which company will make more strategy in case of winning the game? The most
Airtel.
are Airtel lost the game. Jio win the game.
Geo, sir.
Geo.
Okay. We are the people. We win Reliance Industries in case of telecom sectors. Just imagine through Make in India, whenever you registered a particular company, in case of Make in India, the company is not bound to provide taxes for 5 years. तो जियो ने भी वही स्ट्रेटेजी अप्लाई किया, अगर मैं अपने कंपनी को मेक इन इंडिया कॉन्सेप्ट के अंदर रजिस्टर करवाऊंगा तो मुझे टैक्स देना नहीं पड़ेगा। तो जो आप लोग जो 6 महीना फ्री यूज किए डाटा एंड कॉल ऑल द थिंग्स क्लियर, दैट इज रजिस्टर्ड अंडर मेक इन इंडिया कॉन्सेप्ट. Due to that strategy, the all competitor are just laid down from the market, especially in case of Idea, especially in case of Vodafone. अभी भी आप मतलब एम्प्लॉयज को ढूंढ रहे हैं लोग कहाँ पे हैं बोल के, क्लियर. तो ड्यू टू दैट स्ट्रेटेजी he just provide all facility with free of cost for the first 3 months, clear. And the next 3 months he just extend this policy for next another addition of another 3 months. So due to that strategy, what will happen? People are addicted to Jio. So after getting 1 billion number of customers, then the company launches another policy that is known as Prime membership in the exchange of 99 rupees. So after 6 months, just imagine 1 billion into 99 rupees, how much profit that company is on. And it is due to that particular strategy, how they play the game in case of telecom sectors. Clear? So basically, we are not taking personalized things, but the thing is that most of the game theory have a particular set. One person win, one person lose. So basically, you have seen in case of chess, in case of war strategy, special reference to defense, even if you have poker card games, especially in case of market share and stakeholders. So these are the best example. Even if in case of your big boss also, they have to play such type of game theory in the form of prisoner dilemma. So you have already observed in case of big boss, they just segregate the number of participants into different groups. And each group is assigned different type of tasks. Clear? And according to that task should be formed in the they directly convert into matrix forms. So here is a typical example of prisoner dilemma. In that case, suppose there is 2 number of players there. One is A, another is B. In that case, suppose they are interrogated by a particular authority. They commit different kind of crimes, for example. That's why the term is came in case of prisoner dilemma. So in that case, suppose A betray B. In that case, each serve 2 years. अगर A मतलब B को betray करता है, in that case, both A and B will serve 2 year imprisonment. The next strategy is that if A is betrayed, A will be free and B will be imprisoned for 3 years. The same policy will be applied in case of if A is stay silent, the A will be imprisoned for 3 years and B will be free. Similarly, in case of next strategy, if A will stay silent, each serve 1 year imprisonment.
Is this a game or what?
Yes. It's a game. You have to choose the best decisions. Being a business entrepreneur, business owner of your industries, you have to choose the best strategy. Whether it should maximize more money or it minimize or you degrade your companies into bottom levels. So that decision will provide by the game theory. That is the concept. Clear? But if you go to the numerical point of view in case of game theory, all the data should be represented in the form of digit and numbers, and that should be easily calculated by the using some game theory formulas. Okay, this part is included in case of your model number 3. Shall I got my point? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So without wasting time, just I focus on syllabus. These are the module number 1. The first module contains statistical method that contains measurement of central tendency and dispersion. Standard deviation are there, simple correlation, calculation of correlation coefficients is there, probable of error is there, rank correlation is there, regression analysis is there, and another part linear regression and calculation of regression coefficient is there. This is the whole content of your module number 1. Moving to the module number 2. In that case, it basically basically focus on decision science, role of quantitative techniques. In the first part, that is linear programming, including concept, formulation, and graphical and simplex numericals are there. The next part is assignment models are there, which contains the concept of assignment, Hungarian methods. The application include restricted and multiple assignment are there. You are allocating different tasks to different person that directly include in case of assignment model. And the last part, that is known as transportation model. In case of transportation model, it includes concept, formulation, problem, different type of transportation model such as balance and unbalance. By using the last one, you see, in case of getting the feasible solution with respect to transportation model, you are using northwest corner method, least cost method, Vogel approximation method, and optimal solution by using Modi method. And the last, but the included in the list, that is the module number three, which include Q theory, that is the concept. The next part is single server, that is one man, one machine server. Then Markov chain chain is there. Then application related to management functional area with respect to Q theory or waiting line. The next part is decision theory, the concept, decision under risks and uncertainties. The last one is game theory. Basically, we are not focusing on prison dilemma, but the thing is that we have the numerical of 2 zero-sum game with dominance, pure, and mixed strategy. These are the module 1, module 2, and module 3, and these are the textbooks. Static form, statistical method, and quantitative technique by Digambar Patri under Kalyani Publication House. The next part is quantitative techniques in management by Andy Vora, that is Tata McGraw-Hill, and operation research by R. Paneerselvan, that is Price Publication House. So these are the books. Just note down this book, and as soon as you collect these particular books from your library or you from your different sources, especially in case of BBA student or bcom student, they already gone through this statistical method and quantitative technique by Digambar Patri. Just go to that particular module number 1, even module number 2, and module number 3. As you know, already schedule is the class schedule is already sent to.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
These 3 books we have to we have to buy, or else one book.
That depends upon your mood. Actually, we have that much of facility in our library. We can provide that particular books.
But
Yes.
sir, we can't go na right now. Like after offline classes, we'll be
Better you search for your soft copy in case of Google. I will provide some links in case of this
Okay, sir.
modules. Okay, you don't worry about PPTs, notes. Then you can say that is your materials, soft copy, all the things, PDF, all the things we will provide from our side. Clear? And your duty is how much you perform in this particular subject, because as I told in the last class, this is very much a numerical subject. Clear? Starting from the module 1, module 2, and module 3. If you go to the syllabus provided through the mail, there are so many books are there. But most important thing, those who are really interested in case of decision science related to business or industry point of view, they directly go for Digambar Patri only, and next part is Paneerselvan, and Andy Vora books is also available in our libraries. Clear?
Sir,
Before
after the
starting,
college will open, we can issue in library, no?
you can directly issue these particular books.
Okay.
Clear? So apart from books, we will provide the notes also. Clear?
Thank you, sir.
Any doubt from your side? Okay, we'll meet on 4th January onwards. I wish you a happy New Year to all of you.
Merry
Be safe.
Christmas, sir. Happy New Year.
Thank you, sir.
Happy New Year.
Good marks. Clear?
Thank
Okay,
you,
fine.
sir.
Very Happy New Year.
Thank you, sir. Please share this PDF.
Yes, already shared. Just I will provide by PPTs after this particular class. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Someone is right, sir. Can we get the PPT? Yes. Obviously, you get the PPT. Okay. Each and every class will provide the PPT. But the thing is that as far as concerned with numerical, I will in the next class, on the beginning class, you have to prepare with your copy with pen for solving solving some numerical related to your mean, mode, average. Because some people are belong to BSc background, some are belong to BBA background, or some are belong to engineering background. So it is very much crucial from your point of view to prepare yourself with a note and pen to solve the various type of numerical problem. Okay, so thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank 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 you, sir.